Welcome to Tucker Carlson tonight. Pardon the good cheer. Solemnity is called for. Today is January 5th, or as it will henceforth be known to all civilized peoples around the world, January 6th Eve. Tonight at midnight, just hours from now, we will begin the first of many annual remembrances of the horrifying atrocities that took place exactly 1 year ago at the United States Capitol. So how do you commemorate something like this? A history-changing event that's horrible to think about, yet so significant in the life of the country. Well, body counts are the traditional measure. When the nation was racked by unimaginable loss in years past, that's how we remembered it. 40,000 casualties at Gettysburg, 2,400 lost at Pearl Harbor, nearly 3,000 Americans dead on 9/11. But this is a new time, a different age. Those antiquated metrics won't work as we observe a moment of silence for the fallen of January 6th. On January 6th, there was just Ashley Babbitt. Ashley Babbitt was not a Union soldier. She was not a deckhand on the Arizona. She was not even a heroic fireman rushing into a collapsing office tower. She was merely a Trump voter. She was unarmed. She was shot to death without warning by a Capitol Hill police officer with a documented history of reckless behavior. In the end, Ashley Babbitt was the death toll on January 6th. But honestly, so what? It's not really about the numbers, is it? It's not about how many people were killed on January 6th. In fact, the list of those who weren't killed on January 6th is quite long. It's impressively long. It includes all 535 members of Congress, as well as their entire staffs and the press corps that covers them. None of them died. They're still around. But again, who cares? It's not about body counts. It's about feelings. It's about how the survivors feel, especially the reporters who survived. The feelings of reporters in Washington matter a great deal in America. They certainly matter a lot more than how you feel at the moment. How you feel, as you probably noticed by this point, is totally irrelevant to anyone. Nobody cares. But the journalists of Capitol Hill, we do care, and they're very upset. In fact, many have still not recovered from what they saw that day. As they lie down to sleep at night, the horrible images replay on a loop on the back of their eyelids. The deafening thunder of cannon volleys, the smoke from the remorseless artillery fire blotting out the sun, the screams of the mortally wounded calling out for their loved ones, echoing like some demonic soundtrack against the walls of the speaker's lobby. Hell in a very small place. Unless you were there that day, you cannot possibly understand what it was like. Imagine the Tet Offensive plus Fallujah plus the night before Thanksgiving at Whole Foods. On January 6th, you couldn't tell who the enemy was, unless you looked down and saw they bought their shoes at Walmart. Then you knew. But otherwise, it was the fog of war, my friends. Casey Hunt was there that day. Hunt is now something called the Chief National Affairs Analyst over at CNN. As a veteran of the siege of the Capitol, Hunt took to Twitter today to give hope to her fellow survivors. Quote, "Tomorrow is going to be a tough one for those of us who were there or had loved ones in the building. Thinking of all of you and finding strength knowing I'm not alone in this. Hashtag January 6th. That was just a tweet. But someday, you've got to believe, because this is a hopeful country, that Hunt and her fellow survivors of the insurrection massacre of January 6th will come together in some more formal way. Annual reunions held in the shadow of Washington's certain-to-be-built January 6th memorial, the one they're going to have to bulldoze the Washington Monument to construct. Hunt and graying, grizzled veterans of the Washington Post and Bloomberg News and Politico and the Daily Beast and the Atlantic Magazine will raise their white claws as one and remember how they cheated death that terrible day." Okay, we'll stop. It's too embarrassing. We're feeling shame even making fun of it. And in fact, as a political matter anyway, the anniversary of January 6th is not a joke at all. It's a serious thing, a very serious thing. Pretending that a protest was actually a failed coup is the Democratic Party's entire strategy to win this year's midterm election. At this point, it's all they've got. Governing didn't work. And that's why today, the Attorney General of the United States, one of the most political men in Washington, announced the Department of Justice will continue to harass and arrest people who voted for Donald Trump. Watch.
The Justice Department remains committed to holding all January 6 perpetrators at any level accountable under law, whether they were present that day or were otherwise criminally responsible for the assault on our democracy. We will follow the facts wherever they lead.
Everyone who is responsible. So the Department of Justice already had the largest manhunt in its history. John Dillinger is laughing from the pit of hell January 6th trumped him. And it trumped the manhunt after 9/11. It trumps all manhunts. So people who were just standing there taking pictures on their phone got picked up by the FBI. Some of them got sent to jail. But it's not ending. There's still more to come. And of course, Merrick Garland never speaks alone. The chorus always joins him because they always move as one. Frank Figliuzzi, for example, he's a high FBI official. He now works at, quote, NBC News, tweeted this prediction/observation, quote, Attorney General references Watergate. Get it? Merrick Garland pledges pursuit of January 6 suspects at any level. There's more, ladies and gentlemen. A former NBC executive called Mike Singleton wrote this. Don't give up hope. Trump could still be arrested. Arrested for what? I guess there wasn't room in the tweet to explain, but just arrested. Bad people should be arrested. That's the point. What was interesting is that there are a lot of actual criminals who got no space in the Garland speech today. Garland made no mention at all of the pipe bomber. Remember the pipe? Oh, there's the pipe bomber right there. The pipe bomber of January 6th. Maybe it was January 5th, actually. We're observing the anniversary of the pipe bomber right now. That individual was caught, we would say man, but we don't want to get too specific in the current environment. That person was caught on surveillance tape. The pipe bomber was on several phones, or one phone several times. That's all traceable. Where is that person? Merrick Garland didn't even mention it. Here's what he focused on instead.
We have received over 300,000 tips from ordinary citizens who have been our indispensable partners in this effort. The FBI's website continues to post photos of persons in connection with the events of January 6th, and we continue to seek the public's assistance in identifying those individuals.
Oh, be sure to check the FBI website. They're posting photos, and not of people who actually work for them who were there that day. They're not only posting photos, they're taking them off the site, including the most wanted list. Remember Ray Epps? He's on video several times encouraging crimes, riots, breaches of the Capitol on January 6th. He was on the FBI website. Now he's gone. Hasn't been charged with anything, apparently. Why is that? That's a real question. No one in Congress seems to care, even supposedly conservative Republican senators. What are they busy doing? Well, they're busy repeating the talking points that Merrick Garland has written for them. Here's one example.
We are approaching a solemn anniversary this week, and it is an anniversary of a violent terrorist attack on the Capitol, where we saw the men and women of law enforcement demonstrate incredible courage, incredible bravery, risk their lives to defend the men and women who serve in this Capitol.
Now, let's be honest. Everyone who's conservative appreciates Ted Cruz. I mean, I don't like him, but you got to appreciate him. He's legitimately smart. He's one of the more articulate people to serve in the Congress, maybe the most articulate. He doesn't use a single word by accident. Every word Ted Cruz uses is used intentionally. He's a lawyer. He described January 6th as a violent terrorist attack. Of all the things that January 6th was, it was definitely not a violent terrorist attack. It wasn't an insurrection. Was it a riot? Sure. It was not a violent terrorist attack. Sorry. So why are you telling us that it was, Ted Cruz? And why are none of your Republican friends who are supposed to be representing us and all the people who have been arrested during this purge saying anything? What the hell's going on here? You're making us think maybe the Republican Party is as worthless as we suspected it was. That can't be true. Reassure us, please, Ted Cruz.